You've already put words in my mouth. You've called me racist. You're saying that I want to kill everybody. I've said none of those words.
You kill people and then you ask questions later.
It's absurd to hold brown people to a standard that you don't hold white people to.
As a matter of fact, according to Israeli survivors, they said that many of these casualties happened because Israeli troops came in and indiscriminately killed everybody, inclling the hostages.
That's the first time I've heard that story. I've been
first time because you were not covering.
Yeah. Every morning I read credible sources, Wall Street Journal, Fox News, Bloomberg.
I can't take this guy seriously, man. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was live for the last 10 minutes, and then I realized I wasn't. I was talking to myself, but alhamdulillah, things happen.
Well, it is Hamas, who is the governing body of Gaza.
Hamas?
But the point of a democracy, what do you mean?
Hamas, at the end of the day, they're a militant group. They're a militant group. They're ISIS. You don't take them seriously. Militant group.
Don't take them seriously. They're the leaders of Gaza, Bassem. They were elected in 2006, and as your joke said, a 30-year...
2006, when nobody actually was alive by then. Like now, like people there, how many people were alive?
50% of Gaza was not alive in 2006.
So if you did an election right now, they're not going to be the rulers of Gaza.
Yeah, but you didn't do an election. That's the point. Kicked out Fatah and the PLO, and they're running the West Bank.
And Israel didn't put them under blockade and kick the shit out of them.
There is an argument to be made there. You think that I'm saying that Israel is completely innocent?
This guy is so disingenuous because he's like, do you think I'm saying that Israel's completely innocent? But you're not condemning them. You're not telling us why they're not innocent. You're not specifying where they're guilty. You're just crying about the brown people. Literally, you're just crying about the violence that brown people are committing, and you will not stop and tread on the waters of white crimes. And I would even say Jewish nationalist crimes. I mean, it's not a conversation he's ready to have, and that's why everyone in the comments is completely hating on him, because he just completely argues in bad faith throughout the entire discussion. And it's funny because sometimes I'll say something and I'll get back to the video, and then Bassem says kind of something I was saying, or if not a better point. And then I'm just like, well, maybe I should have just let the video keep playing.
There's no perfect country. There's no innocent country.
Listen, this is what you do. And when I say what you do is what America and Israel and all of this, like, let's kill them all.
No. You've already put words in my mouth. You've called me racist. You're saying that I want to kill everybody. I've said none of those words.
You kill people and then you ask questions later. So every time you compare Hamas, I'm bringing you Israel and America, which are supposedly democratic countries. Hamas and ISIS and whatever, these people are not like good examples, right?
I agree.
Good example. So when you tell me Hamas, all right, fine, Hamas, horrible people. Let's talk about the leaders of the free world.
I don't like this argument. I see what he's doing, trying to kind of appeal to their argument that these people are so bad and horrible. They're big T words anyways. Why even talk about them? Why talk about how bad they are? Appealing to a point we don't need to give them at all. Let's be real. Like, you can get past that point fairly easily if you just mention that they came out of an open air prison. Like, yeah, there are a group of brown people that committed violence, but they only did that after breaking out of an open air prison. Dare I say, a concentration camp in which they've been trapped in for 17 years with 2.3 million other people. And every domain of their life is controlled and abused, by the way, by Israel. The food, the water, the fuel, the humanitarian aid, even the internet and the cellular electromagnetic space is being manipulated and abused by Israel. They can't even fish. For the love of God, you can go to rivers in your local town and fish. You can go to lakes in your local town and fish. They can't even fish. And 80%, 90% of them, before the conflict began, were suffering from severe food insecurity already, and they couldn't even fish. What are they going to get? What are they going to get? Missiles from the ocean? They're going to fish missiles out of the ocean? They can't even fish for food. Every aspect and domain of their life is controlled and abused by Israel. So, of course, they're going to break out and do something violent. They're going to break out and be like, we came prepared with a 18-page case against you, or an 87 whatever page case against you like South Africa did. No, they're not going to come out with roses and flower petals and, kissing everybody. Hey, let's make up. Let's be better now. And it's absurd to hold brown people to a standard that you don't hold white people to. It's pretty racist.
America, they kill first, they ask questions later. And the result, Afghanistan and Iraq.
Disasters.
They kill.
I'm not going to argue with on that one. Disaster.
Israel kill later, and then the result, what's happening in Gaza and what's been happening to Gaza. There's no justification for Israel to kill 30,000 people right now. And all the thing about October 7th, many of them, can you tell me where are the decapitated babies? What are their names? Can you give me the names?
You want me to go over every dead, decapitated Israeli baby's name?
I think that story was refuted, wasn't it?
It was refuted many times.
Vinny coming in clutch, man. I'm sorry, guys. I need my pizza here. Vinny coming in clutch. I just noticed how silent Patrick and Vinny are. But at least he jumped in to say that. I'm pretty sure it was refuted. It was damn refuted. And this guy, Adam, he's arguing in such bad faith. You want me to name every single baby whose head is no longer there? Just name one. Just name one. They can't even name one. It's because it's a fake story, as Vinny just said. It was refuted.
What's your point? That Hamas didn't kill babies? They didn't kill women?
I say if you have
There's hundreds of people kidnapped by Hamas. What's your point?
No. They're kidnapped, yes. In fact,
that you're saying that 1,200 people weren't murdered?
If a terrorist group would decapitate people, if terrorist group would burn people, you know what terrorist groups does? They terrorize. They will show them off. Like ISIS, they were burning people in cages. All right? We will not find about the atrocities of rape or about decapitating from other sources because a terrorist group, by design, terrorizes. They will go in with their GoPro. They will show you the babies that they decapitated. They will not going to hide it. It's like, oh my, we didn't do it because terrorist groups does that. Right? Remember ISIS, when they were burning people in cages, they like to promote their terror because the terrorist group wanted to terrorize the public. You have not seen...
That's as unfortunate and detestable as it sounds, that's a true point. That's a good point. Every single T organization loves to take credit. They see it as taking credit for their atrocities. When atrocity takes place and then America says, oh, we suspect this organization... If it's a T organization, they would be like, yes, that was us. Even if it wasn't them, sometimes they'd be like, yeah, that was us. Just because they want people to be like, wow, they're powerful. They can do X, Y, Z. And maybe we should give them what they want. They really just want to control their own people, their own masses. And if you lived in one of these places and there was a group doing these horrible crimes, you would want to obey them just so it doesn't happen to you or to your family. So it's actually a very good point because... Hamas has actually been on the record, their leaders have been on the record saying that they did not have any instructions, they did not give any instructions to their people to attack innocent civilians. Only combatants, only members of the military. And you know, another level, another layer to this that makes it very difficult is Israel has a civilian army. It's really hard to be like, okay, these are the civilians and these are the militants because Israel has a civilian army. Therefore, the vast majority of them have or are serving in the IDF. Now, I'm not saying that's okay to X, Y, Z, whatever with them. I'm not. I'm just saying that when certain people are captured, like the 3 young women who are members of the Israeli army, when they were captured by Hamas and pictures were put out by them about them, the articles that were written said that civilians were captured, but they're actually military personnel on duty. They were soldiers on duty. They carried weapons and posted horrible videos of them dancing, which is, don't watch it if you want to stay sane and mentally coherent.
It's one of the most naive comments I've ever heard. We've seen videos, countless videos.
How dare
of them
you?
Gang raping women and then blowing their head off while they chop off one of their breasts.
What on God's green earth is this man talking about? Where? What? Like, where do they get this from? I swear, someone in some weird office somewhere in Israel was typing all these freaking lies out, saying we're gonna use this propaganda, and it's gonna. When they hear stuff happen to women, they're gonna lose their minds. When they hear the stuff about babies, they're gonna lose their mind. And then there's no evidence because now the world all of a sudden is like, okay, we actually need evidence before we condemn anyone, and there's just no evidence at all. Therefore, we're not gonna believe it. And this guy saying there are videos of this happening. I'm not going to play it again for our collective sanity, but he's saying there were like he's talking about it as if he watched it last night and he was just like, these damn Arabs, man.
We've seen these videos.
No, you haven't seen it.
Well, are you fucking crazy? Of course we've seen these videos.
Seen it.
We've seen dead bodies littered all over kibbutzes.
You have read about it.
Okay.
And I can
go watch the videos.
And
You're choosing. This is selective ignorance. This is selective ignorance. That's like me saying, if that's like me saying, of course Israel's not bombing indiscriminately. No, they have. And I'm at least willing to own that. And I'm not Israeli, I'm American.
By the way, I'm not defending Hamas. They did
but you are equivalent.
But what I'm saying is all of these like decapitating babies, that is wrong. That never happened.
Okay, it was only a few.
A few? How many?
Dude, I'm not there on the
what are
ground.
their
So what's your argument?
We have
What-
pictures of
let's be clear here.
We have
What's your
pictures of every
argument
single-
that they didn't decapitate
didn't
one
say that.
baby's head?
No.
So what are you saying?
I said that what the Hamas did was terrible, but it was inflated by things to make it emotional to think that it's okay to kill all of those people.
It was inflated. So it wasn't 1,200. Well, how much was it?
I don't know.
If you look at the list, there was a list online that Israel released of the names of people who died on that day. There are some people who died in Egypt in that day, which means it wasn't by Hamas. They're doing what they usually do, which is they weaponize every point in their favor because they don't actually have any real evidence. You investigate the list, and some people have. They found that 1/3 of the people on the list were members of the IDF. And then Haaretz, which is a news organization in Israel, did an investigation and released video footage of an Israeli Apache shooting indiscriminately at the ground where there were civilians. And they blew up cars as well, civilian cars. Those videos and the pictures that you saw, people charred up in their cars and the car exploded and all that stuff, was done by the IDF. It was done by Israel. It's really a moot point to say, X amount of people passed that way because you don't know how many of them were deliberately targeted and how many actually were caught in the crossfire and how many were caught in the crossfire from the IDF. And that, I think, is the best way to go about it because you really have to question them on everything they're saying. How many people died? And how did they die? And what's the evidence for it?
Talking out of both sides of your mouth.
As a matter of fact, according to Israeli survivors, they said that many of these casualties happened because Israeli troops came in and indiscriminately killed everybody, including the hostages.
That's the first time I've heard that story. I've been
First
covering
time
this.
because you were not covering, because you have not listening to the survivors from the Israelis. On the
Every
7th of
morning
May.
I read
Over there.
credible sources, Wall Street Journal, Fox News, Bloomberg.
I can't take this guy seriously, man. Every day I read credible sources. Wall Street Journal, Fox News, CNN, CNBC, Piers Morgan.
Okay. So what are you reading? Hamas.com? Like, where are you getting your sources?
Hearts.
Okay, Haaretz. Yeah, the Israeli newspaper.
The Time of Israel.
Yes, of course. I read those too.
They have actually brought
I've
people.
never heard them say one time that 1,200 people were not murdered.
I didn't
Not
say
in
that.
one paper.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said many of those numbers that were killed, they were killed because of the indiscriminating interference by the Israeli troops, and many of them died because of...
4 people were killed that way when they tried to rescue the hostages.
No,
the fact that you're trying to equivocate 1,200 people...
You're late in the game.
Basser,
You're late in the game. There was a woman that was named Dalia. She came out on an Israeli podcast and she said that everybody in the kibbutz were died, and then we went out and we said the Israeli tank, the one that fired on the whole kibbutz.
This is bullshit stories.
Oh my God.
You think the IDF is just coming in and then just spraying down kibbutzes?
Yes. Yes. That is literally their motto. They have an entire directive called, I think it's called the Hannibal Directive, which literally means an offed person is better than a hostage. Like, I hope you know, Adam. Israel quite literally wanted to off as many people as possible that day because they knew if even one person was taken hostage, it would be heck for them.